Yusagi whirled into her boyfriend's apartment. I had delicious home cooking! Yusako. Mamoru reached over to help hoist a heavy pan onto his counter. She looked the same as ever, really, humming tearfully to herself, almost hopping around her room. Where was this mysterious despair that Ray was sure she was feeling? Surely the number one thing about Yusagi was how quickly she bounced back, as he seemed, well, as bouncy as ever. Something wrong? Yusagi asked, and he realized he must have been scrutinizing her closely. Oh, so you doubt that this meal is 100% tasty? Yusagi put her hands on her hips. Well, I tasted it myself. It's really good because I completely cooked it with love. My mama's love, really. The love that you have for your beloved daughter's beloved boyfriend. But I did help a little, so there's passionate love there as well. So, if you're worried about... No, I'm not worried about whatever you just said. It's just... He was going to be acting weird if he didn't say it, and that might cause her to think he was brainwashed, and they didn't need that right now. Might as well get it over with. Ray-san came over to talk to me. Oh, Yusagi said, and still examining the cooking. Mamoru paused. Are you going to act jealous? What? I talked alone with Ray-san, in this apartment. Mamoru was unearthed about how strangely hurt he felt. It was like his life was incomplete without the overdramatic, menacing glare and a need for hurry assurances. Like he had his lines ready, but she'd forgotten their routine. I trust you both, Yusagi replied, still not looking at him. Of course you do. That's not the point! Yusagi fully looked down, her eyes wide and worried. You're upset. Mamoru took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves down. His voice was actually getting louder. This was sudden. No, I'm not. You are. I'm not doing something right. What do you want me to do? I'll do anything. Mamoru heaved a sigh and sat down at the counter. I don't know. Dress up as a ninja, swear your revenge on her. Yusagi bit her lip. I don't have the costume anymore. Yasuko, what's wrong? What do you mean? She leaned on the table. Ray-san's worried about you. You're not acting like yourself. Yusagi looked confused. I'm not? Yes, just now. You usually act jealous on a whim when I mention being alone with a girl. Any girl. Or a guy sometimes. Yusagi looked more confused than ever. So, you like it when I'm like that? Mamoru felt his face heat up. Not really. I don't. Well, it's you. You're energetic and silly and fiery, and I like that about you. So yes. Isaki looked at her lap, her face beat red. Momo-chan. Maybe I don't say that enough, but I thought you could talk to me, Isako. Anything that happened when I was gone. If you feel you could talk to me, he repeated lamely. He still couldn't make out her eyes as expressive as he continued to stare at her lap, but her eyes were shaking slightly as she crumpled her skirt and balled up fists, just like Ray had. While you were gone, I didn't want to leave you, and I wouldn't forget you. He was trying to remember all the charges Ray had filed against him so he could refute them, since Yusako didn't seem to be cooperating. It would be impossible to do that, and probably not easy for you, not knowing what happened, but, well, it's over now. You saved me, and let me back to you. It's over. Saki closed her eyes and shook her head, her hands all balled up in her dress. What are you shaking your head about? Mamoru asked, starting to get impatient, as he's pretty sure he held the record for the longest period Yusako ever had been silent around him. It's not over, Isagi said softly. It's never gonna be over. What is? Everyone getting hurt. Me losing you. As he definitely was refusing to look at him. He got one of those comforting instincts that overrode his usual method of cautious common sense, grabbed her hand, jerking her bald fist flat, accompanying his own hands around it. She didn't even blink in surprise, just kept staring down. You can lose me, but I'll always come back to you. It doesn't matter that we suffer getting here. We always come back home in the end. Yusagi nodded slowly. That's what makes me happy, but because everyone sacrifices for me, I'm always the last to fall. So at the end, I'm always the one who ends up alone. And I have to find a way to keep everyone with me and get them back where they belong. And I think, what if it happens and one day I won't be able to do it? How can I keep doing this forever? I really can lose everything. Why would you suddenly think... Chibiusa, Yusagi said in a terrified whisper. When Analia took you, she started fading away. So when I saw you die back there, I realized that means Chibiusa just blinked out, And I just lost our future, and all she existed were in my memories. And let her chance to even live die.
Mamoru stared at her, open mouth. She's barely holding back tears now.
I think a part of me I didn't know about thought that because of Crystal Tokyo, it meant that we would always have a future. At least, even though it was hard getting there. But it doesn't work like that. It just means if I lose you, I make a whole world not exist ever. I didn't realize that until now.
In response to the surprisingly deep thought worries, Mamoru could only repeat, "You're not going to lose me."
I already did. For a long time. And I didn't even know about it. You were all the time when I couldn't.
Yuzuko, how could you not realize something that had happened to me? Mamoru burst out.
I know since we're connected by the red same fate. I so sensed it being
No, I don't mean like that. He cut her off. I mean, when you never got my letters, how could you think I just decided not to respond to you?
You said you would be too busy at first,
Usagi said distantly. Mamoru cringed a bit. To be honest, he had mostly said that because he had been sure she would expect him to send a flowery long letter every day if he didn't. It had been a miscalculation. Yes, at first. After a while, what do you think of me? Did I propose to you and then abandon you? She looked up at him, startled. Then he laughed suddenly. What?
Mamo-chan, Ray-chan had to tell me that was probably a proposal.
But, he gaped at her, I put it on the right finger, didn't I? Oh God, maybe he didn't.
You didn't ask me anything. I thought you were giving me a pretty ring.
Isagi looked down at her lap.
I'm an idiot, I know.
Instead of very glad he hadn't gone with his original plan to shove the ring on her hand and then run into the plane without saying anything. That made this even worse.
I wasn't strong enough to bear the thought that something, so I just decided you were happy for getting me. You told me once that you were happier without me after all.
She gave a sicky smile. He winced at this. The same thing Ray had with. He also called that.
But you were dead. You were suffering. The whole time. Well, I did nothing to help you, and I just watched people go through so much suffering on my account. Suffering I can't prevent. I'm not strong enough to bear it. Not at all. I worry one day I'll be so weak I won't be able to even pull you back. You'll just suffer forever, and I'll be alone forever and lose everything.
She was breathing so hard now.
You see, that's why I want you to forget me. I want you to know that it was to be a good time. A good time for all of us together, safe and whole. Because I know it won't last. And soon you'll be suffering again, and who knows at this time. I just can't keep winning. I'm not strong enough. I'm not.
Yuzuko! He slammed his hand down on the table, causing her to jump and look at him with wounded eyes. Can't believe you're even saying this. You're the strongest person I know. You've always been.
I'm not stronger than.
You are a lot stronger than I am.
That's not.
It's true. I couldn't handle most of the things you take on. And maybe my not handling things is why you feel this way. He's so about. You could do this. He used to do motivating speeches for her all the time. But he sort of wished he was wearing the mask to make it more comfortable. We all do our best to protect you. But in the end, you're the one we all count on. And that's because you're the best one to do it. Why are you doubting yourself now, of all times? We can just save the universe. She just looked down with those empty eyes. He somehow got the impression it made her feel worse. What could he do? Come at it from another angle, maybe? You said yourself, you're never alone. We'll always be with you, to support you. Don't you still believe that? Isagi nodded slowly.
You're right. I suppose I'm just a bit tired.
Well, you can rest. Mamoru did his best to sound encouraging, but this encouragement was promptly shattered by a huge crash that made his window shake. Isagi immediately jumped up and peered out, with Mamoru right behind her. He had not noticed it until caught on conversation. The sky had darkened. A giant black cloud looming over the Tokyo area, unnaturally black. It was rimmed with lightning. But more unnatural than the black cloud was the creature inside it. A giant, red-furred head of a monkey screeched with bare teeth and twisted mouth on a brown-like dog body. It propelled itself forward on the air on powerful orange-black striped legs, and a hissing snake protruded out of its hind, hissing and strictly dripping some sort of venom over the city. The thing was huge.
What?
Isagi squeaked, recoiling from the window. I think it's a new... Mamoru muttered, squinting at the thing.
A what?
His girlfriend squawked. A chimera.
A what?
It's a bunch of animals smashed together. He explained patiently. In this case, a monkey, raccoon dog, tiger legs, a snake, supposed to be able to metamorphose into black clouds.
Isagi growled. A new monster? Okay. Please let Silver Moon Crystal Power Kiss work.
As he spun for the door, stumbling and vague as Mamoru said, "Please let what work?"
It's my attack now.
Oh. Well, everybody makes mistakes, and we got another. I forget to enter every time there's a new speaker. He nearly bumped into her when she suddenly saw Sora turn to face him. "What are you doing? We need to hurry."
Mamo-chan, could you stay here?
It took Mamoru a second to process what she was saying. What? Why?
You don't have to cut this time. I'll be right back. I'll do my best. I promise.
Mamoru sighed, placed his hands flat on the counter in an effort to steady himself. This was unexpected. Completely new territory. We've always... What, you need my help?
I did without your help for a year.
She didn't say maliciously, at least. Her tone was simply reassuring. But you would have felt better if she bowed.
Please, just stay here. Be safe. Eat.
She pointed to food there, giving a steady smile.
Now, how's the most right now, okay?
I can't just... But she was already out the door. He stared at the empty spot where she had been. She had always been happy for him to be there with her. Happy to have him show up to help. This is how they'd begun. He knew he wasn't as powerful. She hadn't really needed him for this, no. But she depended on him. Someone to come in at the right moment, with a distraction and encouragement, and she saved the day. That was how they worked. But suddenly he wasn't wanted. Suddenly she wasn't happy to have him there. It's my planet too, he said to no one in particular. In fact, it was my planet first. I always do my best to protect it. No one responded, of course, but it didn't matter. He pushed open his door and left the food behind, transforming as he did so. It didn't matter if she wanted him or not. Unless he was dead, he was going to be there. That was how they worked. It wasn't very easy when your daughter was a goddess of destruction, mostly because it meant you had to share your rearing with 3 very strange women. Susumu Mayo had convinced Soichi Tomoe with some of rather forceful demonstrations that a normal man not be able to handle the difficulties of wearing the Messiah of silence. And considering that Hotaru had gone from a baby to a young girl in less than a year, he had to admit that she had probably been right. So now raising Hotaru was now split between himself and the bizarre trio. He couldn't pretend he was something resentful, but after all he had done to Hotaru under the thrall of that demon, did he have any right to complain? But today was one of the blessed days he had Hotaru all to himself. He was trying to make the most of it. I hate Professor Tomoe, but this is anime Tomoe, so I'm going to let him slide. Just this once. And only just once.
Well, if it makes you feel better, his Japanese voice actor is one of your personal favorite voice actors.
Who?
Akira Kamiya.
Akira Kamiya? Okay, well, let's do this. For our boy Akira. Whoa! Akira Kamiya. Pure great awesome.
Shimizu-san always told me that if you make the cookies right, they give you 100-fold strength and 100-fold courage.
Hotaru chirped as he put him in the oven. Well, if Chibiusa-chan said, then I suppose it must be. Tomoe was interrupted by the doorbell and held a finger out to Hotaru. Better not be Mayo. Happening to be in the neighborhood again. What greeted him at the door was a terrified rictus grin and the empty eyes a woman could ask for. Both were instantly recognizable. Tomoe shoved the door as quickly as he opened it, but not quickly enough. Dr. Poison forced her way in easily, grabbing the professor's hand and shaking it vigorously.
Tomoe-san, I wish I could say you haven't changed a bit, but it looks like you have. What happened to your demon?
2 nice young ladies killed it for me. So really, we have nothing in common anymore. Please leave. Tomoe hissed through his gritted teeth. He couldn't let this woman see Hotaru. But he had a terrible feeling that Hotaru's mothers would be needed to get alerted to get poisoned out. Only way he could speak to her telepathically. Why wasn't that one of her powers? He could have installed it back in the day.
But Tomoe-san, we knew each other before that little incident of yours. You were quite happy to work with me then, too. We are old friends, and I have a very interesting project that I'll get you to help me with.
Things change.
And I've been dying to meet your daughter. I heard something that almost destroyed this world a few years back, and I bet it was her. You never let me see her while she was still in experimental stage. But she's a finished product now, I imagine. Papa? Hotaru came in from the kitchen. The cookies are in the oven. Who's there?
Her eyes left her Dr. Poison, whose richest grin got, if possible, even wider. Tomoe's heart froze in his chest.
You've been holding out on me, Tomoe-san.
Poison said exultantly. She took a step towards Hotaru. Tomoe glared sharply. Hotaru, get away from her, now. Run! Hotaru eyed Poison and her father cautiously.
An enemy? You're in trouble. She's not simply a vessel for some high demon.
Poison cackled delightfully.
I know a goddess when I see one. And this is definitely a reincarnation of a goddess. She's got aura of destruction around her. The very stuff of myth. How did you luck out like this? What could we do with her?
I'm sorry, guys, but I've been watching a ton of online goddess lately, so the moment she said, I know a goddess when I see one, I'm right now seeing either Belldandy, Erd, or Skird, and it's kind of wrecking my mind.
You know, Tomoe-san.
Poison turned back to her old friend at last, her voice flat.
I'm really missing the old you.
Her gloved hand shot out, clamped around Tomoe's throat like a vice. He tried to struggle against her, but found he couldn't move for some reason.
Let's bring him back, Sally. Southern power! Part power! Make up!
Before Poison could turn her head, a cool metal slid around her chin. Sailor Saturn's huge glaive held her hostage, and the child who wielded it had eyes like glass beads, blank and unforgiving.
Let him go.
Poison's eyes smiled in a way that perfectly matched her eternal grimace.
You really are perfect. So glad you came back to the home country.
A buzzing and beeping went off in Usagi's skirt pocket as he ran down Tokyo Street. She pulled out her communicator to see a familiar yet unexpected grumpy face. Buncehead, we've got trouble.
Ruka-san! Usagi chirped. This is the first time you ever called me on my communicator.
Yeah, well, I never needed to call you before. I got a message from Hotaru. She says there's something we need to deal with.
You're asking for help?
Usagi actually stopped in the middle of the street, staring at Haruka's disgruntled face in the view screen.
That's a first. Could it be your heart's finally burst to feel your teamwork and friendship?
I don't know what nonsense you're talking about, Buncehead. Hotaru said all the Guardians were needed, and I trust her judgment, that's all.
Where's Hotaru-chan?
At Tomoe's.
Oh, guess we let her see him sometimes? That's nice of you.
Was that supposed to be sarcasm or something? Haruka asked suspiciously.
Haruka, consider who you're talking to.
A voice with the melody of rolling waves chimed in softly. Right. Haruka sighed.
It's that Mishima-san?
Hello, Yusa. The elegantly beautiful woman came into view screen, casually flinging an arm around Haruka's shoulder. Anyway, could you just come to Tomoe's place as fast as you can?
Well,
Saki looked up at the rumbling sky and...
I mean, you just contact the guys. They'll come down and help you.
What about you?
I'm a bit busy right now.
It's not like you to be not eager to be helped, Haruka said slowly.
Haha, let's prove you weren't around when I first got this job. Please, call the guards and do your best to protect them. I'll be along as fast as I can.
Saki hopped aside as a drip of sizzling venom rained down from the serpent's gnashing teeth, nearly tripping her over her feet as he did so. He has aimed to the ground, forming a giant crater. What could you possibly be doing? Detention? A date? Bunset, are you in some sort of trouble? I hear noises. Haruka's voice was getting louder, her eyes were sharp. Looks like you're outside.
Haruka, you're so overbearing.
Usagi heard a rustling cry of protest from Haruka, and now mysterious face filled the screen by itself. Usagi, what's wrong? That's not overbearing, Haruka snapped on the screen.
Nothing's wrong, Usagi urged. Just take the others and help us Haruka as quickly as possible. Have stakes in numbers. As long as you need me, I'll be fine here.
Saki heard teeny electronic voices coming from off screen. Looks like something's attacking downtown, Haruka reported. That's it. Shiro narrowed her eyes. It's not like you to lie. Sasuna, Mishiro and I will handle Hotaru's situation ourselves. Then, we'll send those four to help you and be along as quickly as possible.
No! Father needs everyone more than I do. Is he called? I can handle this alone. Please tell everyone to go to her.
Bunstead, you're wasting time, Haruka said harshly. This is our family's matter. Hotaru knows the top priority is to protect the princess. She'll allow herself to be sacrificed for that. In fact, she's already done that once. Now stay put. Put Hotaru and everyone in more danger by delaying us with your natter.
But
we'll be fine helping Hotaru by ourselves. She most likely overestimates the severity of the situation. We're the guardians of the other solar system have for a reason, Misaru said firmly. Stay where you are and wait for the others, Usagi-chan.
But
The fuse screen went dark.
I don't want Hotaru-chan or anyone else to sacrifice themselves for me again!
Usagi screamed to communicate, but it was no use. Her enigmatic allies had left. Usagi turned on her heel to face the huge storm clouds above her, and the bizarrely put together beast that loomed not far away. The ground was cracking below her as the storm raged. This thing was already starting to tear apart Tokyo with its mere presence. Siwa had a sick feeling about this creature, or whatever it was behind it. It felt like Beryl or Galaxia, or any one of those who would love to bring death.
Well, the only thing to do is to take care of this myself before everyone shows up,
Usagi mumbled, brow wet with sweat and rain.
That way nobody else has to get hurt. Maybe a clumsy crybaby. I've been doing this for a while. I'll do it quickly.
She took a deep breath, calmed her shaking hands. She whipped out her brooch.
Make it!
The power blew, and in an instant he was standing on the sidewalk in a full Serafuku.
Hold it right there!
She called it to the creature. Didn't seem to hear her over the roaring wind, or notice her presence at all.
I said, hold it right there!
She shrieked again.
Rain days should not come from a terrible monsters. Bizarre creatures waking. Oh, never mind.
The thing was still ignoring her. It felt wrong without the speech. Maybe it was best to get this over with. She took out her rod and held it aloft. The instant she did so, the new froze, focusing its monkey eyes on her weapon. Then, faster than a speeding missile, it made a beeline for her. Usagi barely managed to jump out of the way in time. She stumbled as she did so, hit the ground rolling, only to have to roll and shriek again when the creature made another dive for her. Snake-like tail snapping, claws raking in the air. Usagi had been doing this long enough that she knew she would take a lot of abuse. I had a feeling if those claws sliced her, it would be all over. I went after her rod like a dog after a bone, and wasn't letting her stay still long enough to do a major attack. She instinctively reached for her tiara, before I remembered she didn't have it anymore. Another barely dust swipe pavement, and the manhole cover rolled free. Usagi grabbed it and hefted it up. She'd done this with a pizza once, after all.
Together, action!
The handheld cover spun and sliced the monster's neck, bounced off harmlessly. Usagi had to jump out of the way of a falling metal disc. When she looked up again, the monster was right above her, jaw about to consume her. She shrieked, trying desperately to propel herself out of the way with stumbling feet. A rose sliced across the monster's nose, making it look away from its prey towards the man in the evening suit standing on top of a buckling building. And you're playing the Tuxedo Common music. I meant it, folks. Tuxedo Common was trying to say something. Sailor Moon couldn't hear him over the wind, and the monster didn't care.
Tuxedo Kamisama! Usagi cried. I told you not to come!
Mamoru yelled something back at her, but the monster was rearing towards him now. He put down his cane, looking determined. Usagi felt her stomach froze. It was too fast. He had no idea. This thing couldn't be off with a cane. She lunged forward, screaming, waving her arms to get the monster's attention, even grabbing at his retreating paws with his bare hands. It worked. In an instant, he was swept up and gripped the thing's massive paws. It was carrying her off like an eagle carrying its prey.
Summer Moon!
The scream of four people at once broke through the wind. Usagi could see Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus were running below her. Gazing up at open-mouthed horror, to see a comet was clambering into buildings and hopping to jump over to her somehow. So they're all here. She had to do something before the monster attacked them too. She looked at the creature's face. It was like any monkey she had ever seen with. Crazed eyes, nasty teeth with flying nostrils. She gritted her teeth and extended her arms, trying her best to keep her hands from shaking. She focused on her rod, not thinking what was below her. Her knuckles white, she gripped with all her power.
Silver Moon Crystal Power Gifts!
She watched the thing holding her disappear in a flash of light. She watched herself fall when it did. She heard the screams below her, finally closed her eyes, wishing desperately that these wings meant she could fly. She was flying in the air, and it was be granted. Strong arms were holding her. Mako-chan? Mamo-chan? No, they couldn't fly. Was she dead? She cautiously looked to open her eyes. Staring down at her was a beautiful woman. Raven curls framing sea blue eyes and red lips that smiled at her. Looking at the face, Yasagi felt a little stunned, even more so than being caught in midair had done. Are you all right? Say the moon. She was speaking Japanese with a slight accent. Not anything to make her hard to understand. Isaki nodded dumbly. Then saw the numbness seemed to fade, and it fully clicked who was holding her. She'd seen her on the news, of course. She wasn't in Japan often, but she was big here nonetheless. Sometimes statues and toys of her were right next to the Sailor Moon ones. Isaki pronounced the name slowly, disbelievingly in English, stumbling over some of the consonants. Wonder Woman? It's hard playing being an American, playing a Japanese character and trying to speak bad English and a different accent.